Lives rent free.
Do all clothes come in the same size? All shoes? Helmets? Menus? Yet, that's what sales training has turned into. I mean, we use training and techniques that predate the moon landing and think they're going to work. And there is no one size fits all anything, nor should there ever be a one size fits all magic sales methodology. Well, she says this, then you say that. And if he says this, well, then you say that. Talk about robotics that doesn't work. And there's one thing, the most important thing that AI will never be able to do, and you'll never be able to outsource with it, and that's your ability to lead. And so many leaders have never been trained how to lead. There was a study out of the UK that 84% of people in leadership roles have precisely 0 leadership trainings. 84. And everybody saw what happened, that horrible, horrible tragedy last night. Okay, awful. I just flew into the airport last week. And I don't mean to make light of it, but because this analogy maybe will draw some thoughts, right? Again, thoughts and prayers for those folks. There's a reason, y'all, that airlines do not make the flight attendants the pilots. Does everybody understand this? This is not a promotion. This is what companies have done with their salespeople. Hey, you're really good at sales. Want to lead salespeople? McFly, anybody? These are not the same. These are not remotely the same. And so when it comes to leading people, you cannot do a one-size-fits-all as well, not just in sales. Do you want people to soar? Do you want people to fly? And I wish I had more time to go into one of my idols. I have 3 humans, my favorite humans to ever exist. Probably in this order. 3rd would be Steve Irwin. 2nd would be Larry David. 1st would be Bob Ross. Many of you know Bob. And Bob didn't teach painting to show you how great of a painter he was. He taught painting to show you how great you could be. And it's our role as leaders to help people fly and spread their wings. And as part of what we teach, and this is really important, and I know we mentioned the book before. Does anybody know the author Daniel Pink? Show of hands. I had to get Daniel Pink's approval for this next slide to put in my new book. And I put it in, and my publisher goes, "You can't use that." I go, "But I got it on Google." They go, "Yeah, that's not how it works." You need Daniel's permission. I go, "How the hell am I going to find Daniel Pink?" And my publisher goes, "You're in sales, we'll figure it out." Like, that's a great answer. So I figured it out, and this is now in my book. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the word salesperson? And by the way, this book is titled "To Sell is Human." Has anybody read that? What a surprise. To sell is what? Human. So, first word, y'all, no filter, just shout it out. Salesperson. Sleazy.
Awesome.
Awesome, right.
Handsome.
Enough of the bullshit. Come on. Money. Annoying. Suspicious.
Dynamic.
Yeah, of course. There's always one in the back. So I'm going to show you the word cloud. Thousands of people in this study. And the largest word is the most commonly said. Y'all ready? What's next? Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name again, sir? Yes, sir.
Larry.
Larry. Sure. No, is it really?
Yeah.
What did you say? What did you say again? Dynamic. Okay. So there are 3 other people like Larry who answered this survey. Can you tell who they are? Get your binoculars out.
Important.
Essential. Right. Good. What's the perception of salespeople, good or bad?
Bad.
Will this ever change?
I hope so.
It can.
Never. This will never change. This will never, ever change. The 3 least trusted professions on this planet are what?
Legal.
Lawyers,
Salespeople.
salespeople, and
Politicians.
politicians. What a crew. I mean, what a crew. I just want you all to know, if you are a salesperson or you have salespeople, every single prospect, every single one of them thinks this about them every single time. And if you walk, talk, act, believe, behave like a salesperson, what are you? There you go, all this stuff. Dynamic. Always be closing. So, who caused this crap? Who caused it? For real.
Everybody before
Who
us.
caused salespeople to do this?
Salespeople.
Oh, really?
Sales leaders.
Hell yes. When dogs run amok and they're out of control, that's the dog's fault, right? Oh, whose fault? Oh, yeah. What are salespeople told? Sell to?
Everyone.
Yep. Oh, just our ICP, right? No. The people that really need our services, products, and software? No, no. Well, who do we sell to? They're good. There's bad revenue. Does everybody hear me? There's bad revenue. But that's not what salespeople are told. What are they told? Sell. Yep. Gotta hit the quota.
Sell your grandma.
Yep, gotta hit the quota. There's so many dumb things about sales, I don't even have time to get into them. Closing's probably the 4th dumbest. Goals is probably the 3rd dumbest. KPI is probably the 2nd dumbest, and quotas gotta top the list. Gotta top the list. And there's something I learned way too late in life, and I will never give you all advice about 2 things. I'm barely qualified to do this. One is parenting and one is marriage. Does anybody have any daughters in here? Okay. Any teenage daughters? Or anybody ever had a teenage daughter? Okay. If you ever had one, or you're happy you do, okay, or you have one now, should she date whoever wants to date her?
No.
This is a hard no, yes? Cool. Do that again? Okay. Should salespeople sell to whoever wants to buy from them? No, it's the same answer. And that's not what they're told. And when you are wasting time with bad clients who take all your brain cells, all your energy, tax your service teams, and put you in the hospital, it's not good. Because now who are you not spending time with? But that is not what salespeople are told. They're told, hit this magic number we made from the spreadsheets. And companies are costing themselves hundreds of millions of dollars long term. But hey, we hit some magic number we made up in the boardroom. And this is what salespeople hear. Boy, that sounds like an amazing environment to me. You wonder why turnover on sales teams is as high as it has ever been. It is almost triple what it was 20 years ago. Who's read this book? 5 Love Languages. Does anybody actually do any of this stuff?
Try.
Absolutely. If you haven't read the book, the 10-second synopsis, right? There are 5 love languages, right? The way we give and receive love. But it may not be what?
People who receive it.
Correct.
That's the biggest problem.
Oh, really? So what should we do, sir?
Learn what the other person.
Oh, how funny. So if my love language is physical touch, I can just grope my wife whenever I want. Is this a good idea?
No.
Okay.
Not unless it's her. Like if it is
Cool.
her.
Good idea. So whose language should y'all learn again?
The other person.
That's the language you learn how to speak. And a very smart speaker said this. Who knows what the golden rule is?
Want to others.
Cool. If anybody wants to take notes or write this down about the golden rule, don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. How do you treat people?
Like they want to. The way they want to.
What a shock. That's the platinum rule. What do you think most leaders do? What's their Achilles heel? They just foist their own crap onto their salespeople. and they can't figure out why they're not performing. So, lucky for us, there are only 3 love languages for salespeople. Y'all just have to learn 3. The first one is extrinsic. So there are extrinsic motivators for salespeople. Anyone want to take a guess what a couple of them are? Things outside the body. Money, commissions, trips, prizes, watches, cars, all that stuff. Anybody know the second one?
Recognition.
Good. It's called intrinsic. So these are internal motivators. Some of these: pride, joy, mastery, satisfaction, delivered on time. I want to prove people wrong.
Oh, that's a good
We don't need this. We don't have time to get into my Cutco knife thing. You don't know Cutco knife? Yes. So my parents are the Costanzas from Seinfeld, which is how this happened. But I didn't say a word the first 18 years of my life. I mean nothing, like deaf mute. So I decided to get a job because I had to pay for Bentley, which was like 60 grand. So I got a job selling Cutco knives, right? So I got home and tell my dad. But he goes, "What are you going to do, Stevie?" I go, "I'm going to sell knives door to door." And he goes, and I got to clean this up because we're recording. And he goes, "Are you a moron?" Word for word. I go, "What?" He goes, "Stevie, don't be a schmuck. What are you doing? You sell knives, you don't even talk." So he goes, "Forbid me from doing it." He goes, "Go get a real job." So I said, "Sure thing, Dad." "Hey, Ma, can I have $150 to do this knife thing?" What does Mom do? Here's the money. So that was freshman year of college. My senior year, I was #1 in the country. Right, from a kid that does. Oh, thank you. But purely because my dad told me I couldn't do it. That's intrinsic. Here's the third, altruistic, or altruistic, however you want to pronounce it. This is for the good of others. Mother Teresa, Gandhi, MLK, right, all of those folks. There are salespeople, I know this is hard for some of you to believe, who don't care about the money. Y'all understand? I was just having this conversation at lunch with 2 new buddies, and I just moved back to San Diego. And my friends are like, "Oh, you're the one moving back? What are you moving back to California for?" I go, "Happiness?" Never heard of it? And they go, "Do you know what your tax bracket is?" I go, "You live in Iowa. Congratulations." Right? Like, don't you want to be happy? Don't you want your salespeople to be happy? And here's a clue, reader. Happy salespeople sell more stuff. So, we only have a couple minutes left. But my plight and what I do is make this case for customized, personalized sales training down to the individual. None of this one-size-fits-all crap. And some of y'all know this, and some of y'all have taken the sales DNA test, but there are a lot of assessments out there. There are actually 2,500 different assessments. 2,500. Does anybody know how many of them are accurately predictive of what they promise?
0.
It's close. It's 4%. This is a real stat. You are better off reading an applicant's tarot cards. Okay. So the one we use is predictive, and it is not mine. I don't own it. Okay. The company's called Objective Management Group. If any of y'all want to look them up, we just white label it and call it Sales DNA. 35 years of data. 2.5 million people have taken it. 53 countries now, 38,000 companies. That's why we use this in both hiring and evaluating. When we use this to evaluate sales teams, this gives us a blueprint of how to lead, train, and coach each individual person based on what they need the most. So as we wrap up, and we don't have a ton of time to go into DNA, I do want to point out one thing on here, which is a major hindrance for salespeople, and 86% of salespeople have it, and it's called the need to be liked. This is an immensely destructive trait. If you need to be liked as a seller, what do you do? What do you give away, do you think? Yeah. The top 14% of women and men, the best in the world, don't give a crap what you think. Do you know the emotion they would rather have? It's not likability.
Respect.
Respect. But here's the key. You still have to be likable. You just can't care if people like you. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
What percentage of people on TikTok need to be liked? They're all well adjusted. So here's our final story. Do we have any that attempt to play golf here?
Yeah.
Cool. So a hole-in-one is pretty rare, yes? So in the history of the PGA Tour, there have been roughly 1,250 holes-in-one. 1,250. On the PGA Tour, 13 guys have shot a 59 or better in a round. Shooting a 59 is historic, and only 13 guys have done it. Anyone know how many guys have shot a 58, which is about 13 under par? One. Anyone know the guy's name?
Same Steve.
Jim Furyk. Anyone know this guy? Jim Furyk is famous, not only for shooting 58, he also shot 59. One guy to ever draw breath. One dude, and it's him. And he's not known for that. He's known for having the worst swing in the history of golf. David Faherty said, he was an announcer, that Jim Furyk's golf swing is about as graceful as watching an octopus fall out of a tree. He's the only human to ever do it. How many golfers swing like Jim? Oh, funny, 0. Why? This is what's been done to salespeople for 50 years. Swing like Jim. You know what's worse? If you're a sales manager, and this is you, and you do one of these ride-alongs, shadow, how do you think you tell people how to swing? Like you. You have to teach people to swing like them. Each person has their own unique selling motion. Or you can just keep saying swing like me. So for everybody in the room, I was trying to figure out what would be helpful to y'all. And we were just having a great conversation about this. These sales DNA tests are $600. We will give one per company to a sales leader who seriously wants to evaluate the people on her or his team. You can have one test, and Janae on my team will then sit down with you for an hour and tell you every single thing you've ever wanted to know about that person. So there's a version for sellers and there's a version for frontline sales managers. Okay. So if anybody wants to do that, that's the QR code. Again, we'll have plenty of time to talk later for questions. I want to make sure we respect everybody's time.
Does it come with a therapist also?
You should see the people's faces right when I'm doing it. And I go, bro, it's just sales. You're not a bad father. It's just sales. Right? But that's how they think. But again, it's to help everybody. And we get such great feedback every time. So thanks, y'all. Thank you so much for the time, everybody.